if I recall. So again, it has to be like you see a lot more Western developer names in the Genesis library than most systems because like in the US there was a brief period where the Genesis was like outselling Nintendo stuff. In Japan, this was not the case. It was kind of like, a mediocre performer for sake of there. But here, it was great. So there was like more demand in the Western Hemisphere for games than there was in Japan. And because the Genesis happened to have the same basic processor setup as, was it the Amiga? Don't quote me on that. Some British computer setup had a very similar chipset going on, which made it very, very easy to just like port stuff directly over from that. Anyway. If it wasn't obvious from the legitimately amazing, especially for the time, graphics, this is from the same person who brought us Out of This World or Another World, whichever you want to call it. Okay, get my controls. Somewhat. Okay, that's how to running jump. Yeah, this was kind of the follow-up to either Out of This World or Another World, whatever you want to call it. One of those cinematic platformers. Okay, how do I grab things? Ah, there we go. Oh, question, how do I access my inventory? Ah, start, okay. I think this could use more buttons than it has. Yeah, this was ported to everything. And it is arguably, this is where the person's forehand comes in, the first game I ever owned for the Genesis, if we're really playing fast and loose with the word owned. At one point, I was borrowing a Genesis from somebody else, doing one of those, like, here, borrow my SNES for, like, a couple weeks, I'll borrow your Genesis things. And I rented this game, and to the best of my knowledge, I had it for the weekend. Did finish it, it's not a terribly long game, and took it back. Or more accurately, I asked my mother at the time, because, I was a child, to take it back. And for whatever reason, it fell off the seat, rolled under the seat of the car. She spaced out, forgot that she hadn't taken it back. I didn't happen to go back to that particular rental place for a while. They very shortly thereafter closed down. And because of that, it never got returned. And then literally 7 years later, just cleaning up the car. Oh, here's that rented Genesis game. Whoops. Also, this right here is a little detector or sensor thing, which will, in this case, make a noise if something's in front of it, which is just used to guide you to that little plot device. I do need to remember some basic controls though, because this is very much like Prince of Persia, one of those things where you have to know your exact move set, and it is very unforgiving what you have to do. Yeah, so I low-key accidentally stole a copy of this game back in the day, is what I was basically trying to say. I think it is like hold A, tap forward to start running. Okay, then you automatically will jump. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, they had to get very economical with the controls for the Genesis version of this. But yeah, you start out here with amnesia in some jungle. The plot is kind of a like pastiche of like Philip K. Dick stories. Okay, okay. They're gonna come back to me. This is also a very cruel game. There are a lot of things that are just like instant death, particularly in this starting area. And again, this is also true of Out of This World. This is true of Blackthorn. This is definitely true of Oddworld. Just very, very unforgiving games with highly animated movesets. A lot of precision. Okay, I have to have a certain distance for run up, right? Okay. It's actually a very limited moveset, and it's just kind of unorthodox. So a lot of the game is just like coming to terms with that, essentially. There we go. It's a good pistol whip. Anything up there? No. But yeah, so yeah, beat this on a rental back in the day, and then kind of that's rude. In theory, our friend there will still be shooting the wall. I can give him one of these. I was expecting to jump there. Right, that's a long jump. Okay, okay. I'm figuring this out. Aha. Nope, can't pick that out from here. Okay. So, believe it or not, that was intentional damage. I do have this little shield here I want to point out, which is basically HP. It has very few charges. There are very few places to actually recharge it. But they do exist. And oh, here's something that this game has a lot of. And oh, I'll level over again, aren't I? Oops. Just recall, I actually have to pick this up, or else some door somewhere will be blocked off. I can't skip the little cutscene gives. Bit of a lag switching screens. This, of course, like Out of This World, is kind of running its own custom engine. And, oh, there was something over there that I forgot to pick up. Okay. There was a time when I, like, had this entire game down enough that I would, like, hum a little song that was just, like, signify all my actions in it and stuff like that. Let's see, does this work? Yes. Just good sound go along with that. Small amount of money. So I'm not like to get there in this little quick demo, but I seem to recall the like level progression as being kind of interesting. It starts off very just like adventure in the jungle here. Dealing with people like this. Their weird dudes with their giant guns and whatnot. But after a bit of that, there's a whole chapter where you're just like in a city, having to just like take the subway and get odd jobs like that to earn enough money to get somewhere. And it's a very interesting little setup of like, you know, this little subway that you can like go to different little regions with, and little kiosks for getting your jobs and whatnot. Which at the time I thought was pretty neat. Okay, so we do need to charge this somehow. Just do this. There's always a way to do things without taking damage. I don't remember what it was in that case, but there's some combination of moves where you just like land crouched with your gun drawn and just be able to get the first shot there. Another thing is when I was first playing this, it was on an old TV that wasn't configured super well, and I remember the like overflow area of the screen chopped off like the last 20 pixels or so. So that particular, just instantly vaporizing green stuff, that's very visible. Some of them, it's just this very subtle effect on the floor. At the same time. And I could not see those for the life of me on the TV I was using. Or I could see like a pixel of it if I looked really closely. I just can't get through there anyway. It's kind of a narrow gap, right? Oh, yeah, like these. It's a little subtle. But I just like walk around the screen and die. I was like, what killed me? Okay, here we go. Only charge. Or is this not on? What's the deal here? Oh, wrong button. Okay. Yeah, the versions for the SNES, if I recall, has a much more simple control scheme because they have, you know, like 6 buttons. Well, really 8 to work with versus 4 on the Genesis. Yeah, I can recharge my little shield battery here. I'm now fully healed. So that's a plus. Yeah, sometimes it's like 8 interactions with B interact. It's very inconsistent that way. What the deal is here. Ah, right. This is just annoyingly designed. There we go. Will do. Everything is back to where I was. I mean, I like this one. At least like at the time. It's a learning process if you haven't played it in forever to just remember how anything controls properly again, though. Especially the Genesis port, like there's just one button too few or something. Okay, so I can't climb up that way, but I can, I think, do this. Okay. I forgot how punishing the falling damage was. Anyway, yeah, that's a look at Flashback.